help them understand this so they didn't know it ahead of time.
Yeah, so
If not, it's just making sure that they're good.
yeah, so you can ask them if they told you what you would need as far as
Right.
money down and all that.
A lot of first-time home buyers get the money down from their parents. Right? It's called a gift. That's allowed. Right? Because they have the income, they just haven't saved the money yet. Right? And other people are going to have to wait 6 months, a year, whenever they can save that money to get that down payment. Because no matter what, they're not going to be able to buy it. They don't have any cash in the bank. Right?
And you need to ask them what their payment's gonna be. What are you comfortable paying? Because I see a lot of times people can qualify for more and they want a less of a payment and they won't even budge on that.
Yeah,
So then you're out showing them and then it's like, you're showing me things I don't even want because I can't afford that.
If you break down what they can afford with the lender, have them break it down into what their payment's going to be. Right? Because people really understand that. It's another monthly bill.
People buy on payments, just like a car and everything else. You know, you like a car, you want it, what's the payment?
I can't afford a $400,000 house. Can you afford $1,800 a month? Oh yeah, I can afford that. Okay, it makes it easier for some people.
Exactly.
Okay? Do you have a reserve fund for closing costs and prepaid items? Same concept. Okay? And all that can be gotten from your lender. Use these people. Right? Go to the title company. This is the contract. What's the closing cost going to be? Have it all ready to go for them. Right?
Can we just take their word for it? Do we require proof from the client, the prospective buyer? When we ask them, do you have money available for down payment?
No, that's why it says ask them for verification.
Okay.
If they're paying cash, I want to see your bank account. If they're getting a loan, I want to see the pre-qual letter and speak to the mortgage guy.
No, I know you need the pre-qual verification, but in regards to the money that they need for closing, do we just take their word that they have that, or do we ask for some sort of verification as well?
I don't think it could hurt to ask for verification.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Depends on the clients. I mean, what I personally do is I would talk to their lender, then I would call the title company and ask them to do a preliminary HUD and just let the lender verify or ask to see their good faith estimate and then say, are you comfortable with all these numbers? And I like to go over that prior to an offer. That's why before I even take them out, I would like to see that and go over it with them and say, what are you comfortable with? Is this in your comfort zone? Okay, great. Now we just need to find the house and the price, and then they pretty much know. So it's not a surprise when you get there. I also give them a contract and everything else, so they're not surprised.
The not a surprise is the part that, I mean, you would want to see it in your own eyes, I guess, but at the same time, as long as you're going over this with them and you're letting them know that this is the way it is, they can't blame you if they didn't have that money. In fact, you'll see a lot of times when people are supposed to have that money in the bank, you know they have that money in the bank, and then somewhere between the time they put the contract in and closing, they go and buy something ridiculously expensive and now they don't have the money in the bank anymore.
Or I have like a couple clients, they're like, I have the money, but I gotta pull it from my 401k.
All that's fine, as long as they understand it needs to be there for closing, you've covered your bases.
Okay.
But if you want to prove it to yourself to make absolutely certain, I don't see a reason why you can't do that.
And also you want to set them up, don't buy any cars, furniture, or anything prior to this closing, because they're going to re-verify the day, at the day that we go to closing. And I've seen that happen, so no major purchases till you sign the line. And let them know that, because I've had that happen to me.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, cover roles and expectations. This is where we are now, stage 4. Now that you have motivated buyer who is willing to get qualified or has been qualified, you can set the boundaries for a successful working relationship. The transitional phrase here is, okay, now Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I want to switch gears for a moment. It's been my experience, conflict only arises when expectations differ. Don't you agree with that? Why are we saying don't you agree? Because we always gain agreement, right? Yes, I do agree. Awesome. Well, with that in mind, let me share with you what I feel you have the right to expect from me as your real estate consultant. And again, you're doing this because you're different, right? There are expectations that you as the buyer should have of me. I understand that, and here they are, okay? And you're going to hand them the My Role sheet. On the next page is the My Role sheet, okay? Once you've completely reviewed the My Role sheet, you're going to say, now since this is going to be a partnership, let me share with you what I feel I have a right to expect from you, right? And again, you're a professional. You do this for a living. So you, in a win-win relationship, just like buyer has a right to expect things from you, you have a right to expect things from the buyer. So here they are. And we have these sheets and they're separated, they're not together, okay? So that you can use these if you want to slide them across from your client and even have them sign it on the bottom, right? almost as good as what Jason talked about earlier, which is a buyer representation agreement, because at least they are signing their name, and it's not really enforceable in a court of law, but they're signing their name to something which is an act of that they understand the expectations. And it says things like, you expect them to be on time. You expect them to keep all appointments and call in a timely manner if they have to cancel, right? You expect them to meet with a loan consultant in a timely manner. You expect them not to make, there you go, not make large purchases, right? Respond to calls for mortgage title inspection. I can't tell you how many times that happens, right? You're trying to close on this deal, and your own damn buyer won't respond to the title company to answer a simple question, right? They should have, because they signed their name to this, right? That's the point. Make an informed, intelligent offer immediately after finding your perfect home. Loyalty, right? I expect loyalty, and there's a dialogue for that on the next page. I expect you to respect the seller's property, to inform me immediately if things change, notify me if leaving the area for longer than a week, have fun and enjoy the process, blah, blah, blah. Now, I didn't go over the stuff on the top. That's what they should expect from you. You know that stuff, okay? So I'm not going to go over that. But we have these sheets for you as well. Okay. The loyalty dialogue. This page is only necessary if you want to take the concept of ensuring buyer loyalty a step further. You're not really sure this guy's going to be loyal to you, right? If this is your sister, you maybe don't need this page. Depending on the family. Okay? I don't know. But you should have an indication of whether or not you need this page, okay? So, only, and again at the top, only A buyers get invited into your car, so you have to confirm you're dealing with somebody who's loyal. Because remember, motivated, qualified, and loyal. Just because they're motivated, you've already tested them. At this point, you know they're motivated. They went to their mortgage guy, you know they're qualified. But are they loyal? I would like to commit to finding your perfect home, and I have to ask you one thing in return. That you commit to working exclusively with me. At this point, shouldn't they agree with that? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Some buyers think that if they have 4 realtors working for them, they have some better chance of finding a home. And again, stupid, but they're stupid. You know, not to be harsh. Don't call your buyers stupid, but in a way, ignorance, that means stupid. They didn't know that that's not going to help them. We all have the same MLS. Okay? So, you need to have this conversation, right? Now, by exclusively, I mean that if you attend any open houses or talk with any new home builders without me, that you're going to let them know that you are happily represented by me. If you drive by a home, see a home in a magazine, or see one online that you think meets your criteria, let me know about it. And also that you'll not solicit the service of any other realtor while searching for your perfect home. Is that fair? Now, remember the story I told you about my buyer who walked in to a for sale by owner and 45 minutes later was under contract? Had I had this conversation with them, was that covered? Yes, it was. Now, they may still do it, but at least I can go back and say, we talked about this. I couldn't say that. Right? Okay. I can guarantee you the best service in the industry if you can guarantee me your loyalty. What do you say? Okay? Now, I want to point out the fact that if you've had this conversation and everything is agreed upon, and they sign that my roll sheet, that's pretty darn solid to making sure this is somebody who is going to be motivated, qualified, and loyal to you. So you don't need to have a buyer's representation agreement signed necessarily, and most agents don't get that thing signed. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. What's the percentage of people get one signed?
Very few, maybe 1 if that.
Yeah, 1 out of 100, if that. However, if you've had that my roll sheet signed and you've had this conversation and everything went very smoothly, they should have absolutely no problem with signing the buyer representation agreement. So it kind of goes both ways. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want to make that part of your routine, part of your process, go ahead. Because I think if you do this right, they will sign it. And I've talked to agents, and there's very few, but I've talked to those who do it and have no problem, according to them, getting the representation agreement signed. So, it's worth a shot. Okay? And that should be covered, the representation agreement, when closing meeting number 1. Okay, the next part is going to be agreeing on roles and expectations, which is a very simple page. Okay. Now that you've covered, we're basically done, so that's good. You
Okay.
have to do most of it. So now that you've covered each person's role, you can end mutual expectations by saying, do you think we've clearly defined these roles and expectations? Yes. Do you think they're fair? Yes. Is there anything else that should be included? No. Do you see value in what I do? Yes. And again, do you see value in what I do is gaining agreement on everything you've done, right? Remember in the beginning, they might have been like, why do we even have to do this? Now they've been through it. So do you see value in having done this? Yeah, I do. Good, tell your friends. Hey. Awesome. Transitional phrase. After our conversation, I feel we have the makings of... Who wants to finish it? Thank you. It's not a beautiful friendship. I don't even think anybody here is old enough to have seen Casablanca. But anyway, no, I have the feel we have the makings of a win-win relationship, okay? And so that's the close, right here, closing meeting number 1. If the buyer has been allowed to self-discover what working with you is like, and you've established yourself as a worthwhile professional, closing is easy, right? After our conversation, I feel we have the makings of a win-win relationship. Don't you agree? Great, well then would you like me to represent you in the purchase of your perfect home? Awesome, then here's the buyer representation agreement if you want to give it to them. That's where you would do that, okay? Otherwise, what I'd like you to do now is we're going to take a break for a few days. I'm going to find you some houses, right? You can tell them how. What all I'm going to do is insert your criteria to the MLS and see what we find. You don't have to tell them that, obviously, right? Would you like me to search my for sale by owner inventory? Do you have a for sale by owner inventory, Nicole?
Sorta.
Well, let's pretend you didn't. Say no.
I do not.
Well, are you going to say that then?
No.
Okay, good. I just want to make that clear. If you don't have a for sale by owner inventory, you don't say that. But if you took for sale by owner boot camp and you're working for sale by owners, you should and could have an inventory of all the for sale by owner homes in the same criteria as the homes they're looking for, which makes you an expert and better than the next realtor who doesn't. So it's worth having. But don't say if you don't have one. Okay, your homework is to get with the lender and obtain a verification of funds if they haven't done that already, right? Does that sound good? Awesome. Well then when would be a good time for us to get back together to review what I found and view the homes? And yes, that means you will be meeting again. You won't just meet them at a house. You will get together one more time. That is the day you will look at houses, don't worry. But you will be with them one more time. And it must be after they've met with their lender already, okay? Now, please take this contract with you. Like Suzanne said and suggested, give them a contract at the end. Why? Because if they have questions or they don't know what they're looking at, it looks like a foreign language to them, and they want to talk to you about that, and some people won't give a crap, and some people will ask you about every little line. It's better to have that out of the way before we're looking at houses, so that they're ready to put in that offer and they don't have to ask all these questions at that time. Okay? It was a pleasure meeting you. I look forward to working with you on the journey to find your perfect home. Okay? Now, I want to point something out. If the buyer is coming from out of town, right? The buyer you met is from New York, and they're coming down here, and they have literally 3 days to look at houses. Is the only reason meeting number 1 should not be in the office. You need to get out and start showing them houses. So all this should be done over the phone. Over Skype if possible, but over the phone. Every part of the dialogues we've all gone over just now, this whole meeting from start to finish should be done on the phone. You can email them the criteria sheet and have them fill it out that way. Okay? Needs to be done. But it shouldn't be done on a day when you're going to waste time when they only have 3 days to look at houses. Okay? Post-conversation activities. This is the end of it, okay? And this is a breeze, by the way. This page, you guys are realtors, so you know how to look for houses. But, okay, this is what's going to happen after the meeting. Send them a thank you letter for the meeting. Professional. No other realtors do that. So do that. It's easy. You meet with somebody, it's a good meeting, send them a thank you letter, okay? See example on page 39, we give you the thank you letter. You don't even need to think about the verbiage. Create a buyer file, okay? We have app files, use app files and create one for your buyer. Call the loan officer to verify their price parameters, right? They can afford from here to here. Call the buyer to verify their price ceiling. How is that different?
I think that was what Susan was saying, can afford a $400,000 home, but they may not want to spend that much.
100%. 100%. Okay, when you get that pre-qual letter, it's gonna say, buyer can afford up to a $500,000 home, right? Doesn't mean the buyer wants to spend $500,000 on his home. So you wanna ask them what their price ceiling is. Now I'm gonna give you another reason for that. Sometimes, again, buyers, they're ignorant, they don't know. They got a pre-qual letter that says $500,000. I gotta buy a $500,000 house now. That doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that. You can buy something for less, no big deal, right? Go over that with them and they're gonna be thankful to you possibly. Okay? So you definitely wanna figure that out. You're calling the loan officer to make sure of the parameters, but you're gonna call the buyer to figure out what they really wanna spend. Okay? Insert that criteria one at a time into the MLS to uncover the homes that fit their needs, right? Okay. Now, you want to enter the criteria one at a time so you can determine the one or ones that have limiting effects. If results reveal 2 homes or less, you need to call the client to inquire if their needs and wants should be redefined and reprioritized. Do you guys know what I mean when I say that, when I read that?
Yeah.
Because there will be a time when the certain home that they're looking for, there's just none on the market like that, or very few on the market like that, okay? And that can happen. So you want to make sure that you redefine or reprioritize what they need based on the fact that, look, you just can't find them homes like that, especially maybe sometimes in a certain price range. So if that happens, you want to figure that out, okay? They have to have a pool, but in their price range, it's only homes that don't have a pool, right? What else, what do we need to readjust here? So you need to have that conversation, okay? You should call the listing agent to verify the availability and request disclosures and notices. Do you guys do that? Would you do that? Or would you just bring them to the house? You see, maybe 8 out of 10 times that's not a problem. You bring them to the house, it's set active, you're fine.
Yeah, but better to verify it because sometimes this house already under contract, but anyways it's still active.
Exactly, okay? You're not in the business of wasting your time or their time. Okay, if it is backup, you should tell the buyer, this is under contract, right? There's a chance it could come out, do you want to see it anyway? Let them make that decision. But if you didn't call to verify, you wouldn't have known that, okay? And then other times there's situations like, this house can't get a mortgage. Your buyer's got a mortgage, you don't show them that house, right? So you want to call and verify. It's just one extra little step. Prepare showing packages from homes that meet greater than 67% of the criteria. You'll get a feel for that, right? For which homes get to be seen and which don't. And you really need to, you are the gatekeeper for the homes that they see. Okay? They might want to go on Zillow and start looking at a whole bunch of homes. The good news is when they do that, and they send them to you, like more than half of them are going to already be sold. So they'll realize that. You can be like, hey, slow down, send me any home you like, I'll let you know if it's still available. However, these are the homes that fit your criteria. Let's go see these 10 homes. And you don't have, and that's why it says 67%. If it meets most, if it gets all of their needs and most of their wants, these are what you need to be showing them. I don't need you doing mathematical equations. This one's 65, we're not seeing it. Okay, to prepare relevant showing packages, and you should have a showing package. This is important, and I'm going to tell you in the end of this, you're going to figure out why it's important to have an actual showing package. You want a full MLS agent report, using different colors to highlight and indicate which criteria have been met and which have not. Now that's very organized, but it also helps you. It helps you understand what this home has and what it doesn't, based on their needs and wants, right? You're not giving them the full MLS report. That's for your use. Prepare pricing information needed for an informed, intelligent offer. Okay? You don't know which home that they go by and see that it's gonna be the perfect home for them, and if they do find it, you wanna be ready to give them the information they need to make an intelligent offer right there. With app files, you can literally make an offer as you're standing inside that house. And the sooner you make it, the better, so if you can do that, okay? You want tax information for the same reason, more information on the house. And you want to schedule showings 24 hours in advance. Anybody who's tried to schedule showings less than 24 hours in advance knows why you need to do that. For the small, major reason that most realtors don't answer their freaking phone. Not just because it's not available. Sometimes the owners need 24 hours in advance. A lot of times, just because you can't get in touch with the agent. Okay, then you will have a second meeting. Today is the day you're seeing houses, but you're still going to meet them first. Meet them at the Starbucks, meet them in the office, right? During meeting number 2, review the needs and wants to regain focus. Just want to make sure, Kira,
Yes.
that this is still your perfect home. These are your needs and wants. We were thinking about it, we really do want that pool. Crossed it off undesirable. Oh crap, now we have to go back and change some things. But you certainly want to know that now before you go show them 10 houses.
Yeah.
Okay? And most times their needs and wants won't have changed. So you want to go over that. Reveal the showing packages for each home on the tour. Show them to them. Show them that this house right here's got all your needs and all your wants. This one's got most of them. This one's got this one's got that. Show it to them because they'll be excited. Right? And there shouldn't be more than 10 houses on the tour. Anybody who's gone and shown 5, 6, 7 houses knows, wow, that's a lot of houses. And at the end of it, you have no idea which house had the pool, which house was the blue one, which...
They all look the same.
Exactly. Ask the clients if they've had a chance to review the sales contract and answer any questions that they have about that. Make a copy of their driver's license and inform someone in the office that you're going. Now, why would you be informing somebody in the office that you're going? For security, right? But all of you, now that Jason's gone, are ladies, and Jason would have fallen into this category too. Want to make sure that you guys are safe, okay? In fact, we're even looking into getting a program I was going to talk to you about it called Forewarn that I've heard amazing things about, which will help guarantee actually 2 things. It's one, it's an awesome a tool to figure out if your buyers are qualified or not or ready to buy a house, but it's also a safety check, something that will help you figure out if these people are going to hurt you or not. And so it's something that a lot of offices are using. But in either case, let somebody know. A lot of people have accountability partners that they work with and let them know that they're showing they're going to be here, just so you know you don't hear from me in an hour. You might want to check, okay? And then the first part, make a copy of the client's driver's license. Now, yes, that's also for safety purposes, but it's also another mini check of their motivation, right? Because if they won't, I don't want to give you my driver's license, right? When they go to buy a car, do they have to give their driver's license? Yes, they do. When you're going to buy a house, you can't show me your driver's license or give me your social security, bless you. I don't know how serious you are about buying a house then, right? I swear to God. I've had a person call me, I want to buy a house. Okay, gotta get pre-qualified. Okay, no problem. Call my mortgage guy. Awesome. Right? Calls me up. The mortgage guy's an asshole. Why is the mortgage guy an asshole? He wants my social security number. What? You're trying to buy a house. He's giving you $300,000 to do that. You don't want to give him your social... I'm telling you, people are crazy. So you need to know all these things, and you need to pre-qualify them for this stuff. So if you have them do that, it's one little last test to see if they're serious. Okay? And then finally, in all capital letters, we get to get in the car now. Okay? Now, there's a blank here. I love it. That's not the answer, but I love it. Serious can work. A buyers. Right? Motivated, qualified, and loyal. Okay. Now, you're in the car. When showing homes, it's best if the client rides with or follows you. Okay? And I understand you don't know this person. Sometimes we don't necessarily want them in our car with us. Okay? I can get that. But they should be following you at the very least then. Okay? And there's a reason for that. If the client is riding with you, because you cannot have a conversation unless you're on the phone with them, if they're riding with you and you want to ask the following question as you enter a neighborhood. Okay? This house is a mile down in this neighborhood, but you just went through this gate. how do you like the neighborhood? What do you think about the neighborhood? Right? If the client doesn't like the neighborhood, if the client says, this is pretty scary, I would never live in a neighborhood like this, you think they're gonna buy that house? No, they're not, right? They hate the neighborhood, they're not buying the house. I don't care what that house looks like. I don't care if it's laid with solid gold and they're not trying to charge you a lot of money for that, but they're not gonna buy that house. And the whole point here is not to necessarily find their dream home, it is actually to eliminate all the other homes. So that the one remaining is the one that most closely associates with their dream home, because again, they'll never find the perfect home. So we want to get rid of all the ones that they're going to say no to as quickly as we possibly can, right? So they hate the neighborhood, ask them, great, let's move on then. It's been my experience when people don't like a neighborhood, they're not going to buy a house in that neighborhood. So we don't want to waste time, I recommend we move on to the next home. What do you say? You want to see it though? I'll still show it to you. Right? Let them see it if they want to see it. But if you have that conversation, chances are they'll say, no, I'm good, let's go to the next one. Okay? And that's a good thing. If the client likes the neighborhood, drive in front of the home and ask the question again, how do you like the curb appeal? It's hideous. You think they're going to buy that home? Probably not. Right? Here you got a little bit better chance. I mean, I've seen it where somebody doesn't really like the outside, but the home is perfect for them and the inside they love, and so they get over the outside. I can see that. Which is why you give them the option to go in or not. But again, you can ask them, well, you hate the outside. It's been my experience. If you don't like the exterior, you're not going to buy the house. I don't want to waste your time. Do you want to move on? Again. Okay? 2 opportunities before we even get inside a house to discount homes they're not going to buy anyway. Okay? Now you're showing houses. If the client likes the neighborhood and likes the curb appeal, walk up to the home, ring the doorbell, unlock the door, identify yourself, take a step back, and encourage the client in by saying, go in and look around. Open any door, turn on any light. I'm going to trail behind you so you can move the home. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. You're not the tour guide. Right? They need to self-discover that that house is for them. And I promise you, if there's a room that they have no idea what this room is used for, they're either going to A, ask, or they won't buy the house with a room they have no idea what it's for. If they can't picture themselves in it and using it, they're probably not going to buy it. Okay? So don't play tour guide. Your role is to tour the home with a discerning, logical eye so you can discover things that they might miss, right? If you love the home, giant leak on the ceiling, they weren't looking up there. Okay? You're also making sure the home contains all the needs and wants that appear on this printout. As you trail behind, turn off all the lights turned on by the client. You should also point out special features that they don't know about, right? I had a home I was selling, the whole front of the home was draped in travertine. Travertine looks a lot like lesser expensive surfaces that all the other homes had. First glance, they wouldn't have known that they've got this beautiful, much more expensive thing on the front of the home. Sometimes you have to tell people that. Okay? As the tour of that home ends, you want to talk, this is the conversation you really want to have every time. Could you see yourself living in that home? No, it's too small. What if they say anything else? No. Right? That's the point. No matter what they say. Right? So you feel it's too small. Is there anything else? You're not there to disagree or debate either. If they think it's too small, what do you mean? You're crazy. It's huge. It's not going to do you any good. Okay? If you feel it's too small, is there anything else that's wrong with it? It doesn't have a view, whatever else they say, right? Okay, so it's too small, doesn't have a view. Is there anything else? No? Alright. Then let's play a game. If you had to buy a home today, and this was the only home available, would you buy it? Now, it says you may need to assure them that you're not selling. And that's going to sound a little bit like, look, I'm not doing this to sell you. This is just something I do with all my clients. I think it's a fun way to get to the bottom line of the home that they like. So if this was the only home in the market right now, and you had to buy a home right now, would you buy this home right now? Right? And if they say yes, if this was the only option out there, I guess I would buy it, then that becomes the home to which the next home is compared, right? Then that gets to the front. At this point, it's the only home you've seen, but it's on the top. This is the home the next home gets compared to, right? The next home, they like it better. It supersedes that one. They don't like it, this one's still the top home, right? Okay, and if no, tear the thing up, right? Not the only, if the only home and they wouldn't buy it, tear it up, right? Or, you know, if you have a lighter, take a match, you know, take a lighter to it, right? It's fine. No, I wouldn't do that, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. But tearing the thing up is a much safer, more environment friendly way, but it's also a fun activity, and it drives the point home, because why? What's gonna happen if you do this with all 10 homes on the tour? At the end, what are you gonna be left with? One piece of paper, right? Not 10, and then they have to go, was that the blue one or the yellow one? Did it have 4 bedrooms, or did that one have 3? Right? There's only one piece of paper left, so there's no confusion. This is your dream home. And guess what else it's going to do? It's going to eliminate buyer's remorse. Because they've gone through this activity now and they know this is the only home for them. They're not going to be, well, wait a second. Let's rethink that other home that we tore up a couple of, an hour and a half ago. Because it's gone. I'm not saying they won't go back to homes they already saw. They probably still will eventually, occasionally. But this helps you cement in the idea. Okay? Alright. Okay. We're now closing them. Do you remember in our first meeting when I said one thing I expect from you is to have fun? Okay, that was the same. That's the same thing. Okay, so yes, so we have 6 more homes on the tour. So here's the point. The point is they saw a home, it's perfect for them. Right? They loved it. Okay, well we have 6 more homes to see. Would you like to see those, or do you want to make an offer right now? Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with stopping the tour before you see all the homes if they found their perfect home. Give them the option, right? Obviously, don't just say, well, now I'm not showing you the rest of them. This is the right home. Give them the option. But there will come a day when they're that easy and they found the home they love and they're ready to put in an offer. So don't miss that opportunity because you're not used to that. You should ask them that question, okay? They say, let's continue looking. Okay, right? At the close, do you like this home better than the previous one? If they do, tear up the previous one. If they don't, tear up the new one, right? We went over that already, okay? Until there is only one home remaining, okay? Now, if the client doesn't like any of the homes, and that might happen, or their criteria changes along the way because they saw something in a house that they really think they needed to have, and they didn't tell you that they needed to have that, so they changed their criteria, right? That might happen. So you're going to have to go back through the needs analysis phase. You may have to go back through that occasionally. So just do that again if anything changes, okay? Alright? Now you're going to close to the offer. Okay, once the perfect home has been found, so let's see how this looks on paper. Let's write up an offer, right? I want to think about it. Can you imagine, or have you already heard them say that? Right? We found a perfect home, they're excited about it, everything's all good,